There's a particular gentleman who owns a very nice and beautiful house. And that house is the most beautiful in that particular town. So he's very proud of it. Naturally, people become proud. He was a bit attached as well to my house. And there was good reason for this. There were his neighbors, other people from the town, and also people from other cities wanting to buy his house at double the price. If you got Oakland house prices going up, there also it happened. For his house, double the price. But he would say, no, I'm not interested in selling my house, because he was very attached to the house. As he was attached to the house, over a period of time, some years went by, and one day he went for a holiday. As he returned back from the holiday, he came to his house, and to his complete surprise and shock, his house was on fire. The house was burning for some time. He was very distressed. There were hundreds of people surrounding the house, and people could not help because most of the house was burnt out, destroyed. And this man saw the house being broken, came back from holiday, and he was a broken man. House being burnt. He was totally broken man. He kneeled down on the ground and he cried. He cried for his beloved house. There were some people in the crowd who were smiling also. I told you I'll buy it for double the price. You said no. Now look. He was distressed. He cried pathetically. And second thing happened was he was also angry. He started to think, well, I had the opportunity to sell the house for double the price. Now I have lost everything. That pained him even more. In this scenario, just imagine this is happening. So among hundreds of people who are watching this scene, this poor man was a victim. So sad, isn't it? Just then, his eldest son came to him, tapped on his shoulders, Dad, and whispered something in his ears. He told his dad, Dad, I sold the house yesterday to a person who was not living in our city, in our town, from somewhere else, and I sold it for 3 times the price. Now suddenly, when he heard this, as he was so down and morose, nearly touching the ground, his eyes lit up. He slowly stood up. And then he was smiling. Now, just see the situation. From the victim, he became part of the public who was witnessing this house burning. The whole consciousness changed with this one information. He said, that's it. I don't mind my house being burnt. He forgot his attachment because the house is burnt. He got attached to the money. I got the money. Well done, my son. And with this beaming smile, as he was standing, his second son came, tapped on the shoulder. Dad, yeah, our house is burnt, and you're smiling. Get real. He said, son, you don't know, I'll tell you. Or your elder brother sold the house for 3 times the price yesterday. So we have not lost anything, we have gained everything. That's why I'm smiling. So the second brother, second son, he was clever. He said, Dad, he has just given us token money. Some few $1,000, $10,000. The remainder is yet to be paid. And when the house is burned, how is he going to pay? Suddenly he smiled, went away again. Again he became very serious. Eyes became big. He was sad. Again he was slowing down. Again he said, oh no, that's right. What a fool I am. So true. Again, the consciousness changed. Again he started to cry, kneel down on the ground, feeling morose, heartbroken. The whole world is collapsing on his shoulders. The earth moving from his feet again. He said, oh no. Again he became victim. Just see the mind. The house is still burning. The situation is not changed. But what is happening is, in his mind, depending upon external knowledge, he is feeling distressed and happiness. Just then, he had a third child. And I can promise you, he had only 3 children, 3 sons. It's a long story. One child comes, second child, the third child. The third son came and said, Dad, don't be morose. I said, why? What more now? He said, listen, I've heard this guy is a good guy. He will fulfill his promise. I'd heard that. And that's why when I came back when I heard that the house is burning, I went to see him directly. And I told him, the house is burning. Now we've lost everything. Now you won't pay, would you? He said, no. I'm man of my honor, man of my word. When I agreed to pay for the house 3 times, the house was standing. Neither you knew, nor I knew that the house will burn down. That's why I'm going to honor this commitment. Again, this guy became very happy. Again, he became part of the crowd enjoying the scene. So, what are we seeing here? The moral of the story here is that the house is burning, which cannot be repaired. Just the attachment is in, which makes him sad, and the attachment goes, which makes him happy. Sad and happy. Now there are network of senses through which we get attachment. I would like to now ask you one question. Open to anyone. You can have your meals, enjoy yourselves. Some food for thought. There is food for your stomach and the heart. Now some food for thought. When does attachment begin? It's a one-word answer. Can you give us? Anyone, please. At what point in time attachment, any kind of attachment begins? Attachment to family, attachment to house, attachment to belongings, attachments to one's own self. At what point in time does it begin? You want to say? Yes, sir? Oh, wow, you're a clever man. He's saying thought. Attachment starts from thought. Does everyone agree? Anyone disagrees to this point? What do you think, sir? Attachment starts from thought?
Yes, I think so.
You think so? How about you, sir?
Desire.
Desire? Yep, desire, thought again. Okay, all right. Anybody else, please? Attachment starts from one's interaction as well, do you think? Communication. Well, the first point is what? The thought or the communication? Or the interaction? When does the attachment begin? Sorry? Interaction, yes. Yes, what are you saying, sir?
Kamyam is coding. Kamyam means it's like desire.
Desire, lust.
Love.
Yes. Attachment. You want to still say, yeah?
It comes in, like, for me putting my hand up, it starts from the
From thought?
consciousness first.
Yes. Yes. Alright. What you're saying is written in a very ancient book, 5,000 years old. It's written in Sanskrit. This is what I say. This particular, it's a very beautiful Sanskrit also meter which says, Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha Sangastejo Pajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kama Kamat Krodho Vijayate. This is a very beautiful metered verse. But we're going to discuss this point, so we're not going to sing this more. Now, it means this. While contemplating the objects of the senses, one develops attachment to them. Very interesting. So while contemplating, meaning what? Oh, thought process. If I do this, that will happen. The attachment starts from that point onwards. Even parents who have children, many of them, or most of them, or all of them, would have thought about having a child first when a child is born. Is it right? Many of them are like this. So, at the thought level, at the contemplation level, the senses want to enjoy the form. What are the senses we have got? Eyes to see, nose to smell, tongue to taste, and skin to touch. Simple. The 5 senses, working senses. Now there are working senses, knowledge acquiring senses, etc. So with this we acquire knowledge all the time. So while contemplating the objects of the senses, one develops attachment to them. Now, when attachment happens, then what is the second stage? What happens after that? Look at this person. When attached to the house, he was so attached to the house, a beautiful house, people wanted to pay twice the money, but he did not allow to do so. Why? Because he wanted to completely enjoy it. That's called lust develops. What is lust? Has got many definitions. Intense, that's correct. Intense desire. The desire is so intense that one does not discriminate at this point in time. But that's many times a problem with the parents to the kids, or between two friends. You know, you must have experienced it. Your friend is going on the wrong path, but he or she is not willing to listen, and you are saying, "Mate, what are you doing? This is wrong." And he or she can't see it because at a subtle level we have attached, he was attached to something from which lust develops. So while contemplating the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment to them. And from attachment, lust develops. And from lust, anyone would be able to say, what happens when the lust is developed, and what happens when you tell your friend, Mike, not to do it? What do?
They do it.
They get angry. I know what I'm doing. You are an obstruction to my objective. Suddenly you as a friend become an enemy to the person. Your parents become a nagging parents. Right? All they're doing, parents, is something good for you. With their experience, they're telling you the right thing. Telling us the right thing. But because of our process that is going on subtly, we don't see this. So with the attachment, lust, and from lust, anger arises. Now, when anger is arised, then what happens? See, we are slow moving the process, okay? From when anger arises, then it says that from anger, complete delusion arises. What is the meaning of delusion? D-E-L-U-S-I-O-N, delusion. What is the meaning of delusion?
Losing the sense.
Not real.
Not real? One is not able to discriminate and is deluded. He doesn't know what's going on. This happens. Parents would experience it, or we would experience it with people, our friends, or they have experienced it with us also when we are attached like this. So this is a self-realization process where we have to constantly monitor ourselves. So when with the anger, complete delusion arises. It's a slow process, from slow delusion to complete delusion. From delusion, what happens? Bewilderment of memory. This is the most interesting thing when I study this process. Bewilderment of memory. Just stay with the thought. When one gets angry, delusion arises, complete delusion, means one doesn't know what's going on. And at that point in time, one's memory is lost. How did this come into play? Where does memory come into this? You see, same situation, we'll just take one example, where a parent must have told the child when he's growing up to say, be careful of these things. Even if they are able to inculcate that feeling and thought in the child, when the child grows up, becomes a teenager, independent, or whatever it is, the child goes and unfortunately gets attached to wrong things, then the process begins. Attachment, thinking, attachment, from there lust, from lust. What is lust after that? Delusion, anger, from anger, delusion. And from delusion, bewilderment of memory. That point in time, those instructions, which were like fortitude, it protects us, these instructions, from our elders, from wise people, from our friends, from our well-wishers. That memory is wiped out. It is interesting. We don't know the value of clear and good instructions which have been given to us by people. And I can tell you that many times best instructions are given by our own near and dear ones, yes. But when we grow up, we sort of misrepresent ourselves in our own thought process. When a person gets, instructions are given by the parents with love, also sometimes with stern warning to say this is wrong. Time up, that's it. After 10 o'clock, home. This is wrong what you did, curfew. Yeah, or whatever it is. Just strong instructions, but for us, our betterment. When the memory of this is totally lost, whereby these are protecting us, helping us, and we don't appreciate this. This point, most of us, humanity, miss. And we like people who smile at us all the time, rather than a person who is sternly telling us, this is wrong, stop it, mate. I have been told, and I learned by even third person saying, stop it, this is wrong. And that person had nothing to do with me. And I said, what you're saying is absolutely right, actually. That's right. Thank you. Right. And for a few seconds I got upset also. Why are you speaking to me so roughly? No? But I did it in my interest, you see. Now when the memory is lost, when the memory is bewildered, what happens? Intelligence is lost. So what is intelligence? What is the function of intelligence? Anyone please? What do you think intelligence does? Madam?
Knowledge.
Knowledge? Okay.
Right or wrong.
To know right or wrong. Discrimination. Intelligence gives you discrimination. Senses are constantly acquiring things. They don't think, oh, I like it, I do it. Okay? The mind is sitting above the senses, which is constantly gathering this information. It's like a hard disk. Just one second, I'll come to you. Mind is like a hard disk getting information from the senses. It is the function of intelligence which says right from wrong. discrimination. At this point in time, when the memory is bewildered, but you don't remember right or wrong, intelligence is lost. You're saying something?
Is it like similar to positive thought?
Not just positive thought, it's the overall intelligence of discrimination. When you can discriminate from right to wrong.
But what if your own blood, like say your mother or father, are not positive and don't, they can't see where you're coming from,
Yeah.
and they speak, bad stuff to give you negative, and you try to, have clear conscience.
Yeah. When the child is dependent upon them, child can't do much about it, unfortunately. But as the child grows and becomes independent and can discriminate between right from wrong, one should do it. Look for the positive part. It's very unfortunate if it happens, but I know it happens.
Karma.
Oh, yeah, I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
There's thousands.
Yeah, I realize it, my friend. That's why we do these programs and we reach out to community. If something is going wrong somewhere. Because if the parent also know this process of at what stages senses are working, they know their priorities, they will not do wrong things to others. And people who are with us, we don't even do wrong things to strangers or to enemies. Can't dream about it. Sorry to hear that. Yep.
Because I know there's positive people there,
Yeah.
but it's hard to try and pull yourself away from that negativity.
Yeah. Yeah. I
It's
understand.
like friction.
Yes. I've seen that, my friend. But if you experience it, then you know better than me. I cannot be in your shoes, my friend. But we can tell you what is the right thing. At least here there's positivity. You can get this positivity. If you know the functioning of the senses, we acquire knowledge. The thought process, the senses, objects, attachment. From there, lust develops. From lust, anger. From anger, complete bewilderment. From bewilderment, what happens? Memory is bewildered. Yeah? Delusion, bewilderment of memory. From memory is bewildered, the intelligence is lost. So at this stage in time, one doesn't discriminate between right and wrong. It's gone, the process. When that happens, when the intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the material pool. What we're talking here is to lift ourselves from this material bondage. Of what? Birth, death, old age and disease. One cannot say, because I am a Christian, I don't follow this. I'm not born. You are born. I'm a Hindu, I'm born. A Muslim, you are born. You can be anybody. A dog is born. This is above all, this information. And that's when this information helps us to lift ourselves, our consciousness, to be happy. So today, all of you have come, taking your time, and very nicely people have organized these programs. So as you enjoy your meals, we want you to go back with this thought, the complex nature of attachment through network of senses and mind. Very quickly summarizing, the process is very simple. The senses are very gross, they acquire knowledge. Senses keep on getting knowledge. Mind is above it, but mind doesn't discriminate. Intelligence discriminates. So unless and until we know this process, we will not be able to understand what drives intelligence. There's something which drives intelligence. It's pure consciousness for individual, all of us. At that stage, we are very close to pure consciousness. It doesn't arrive so easily. And when we do not follow the process, or we are victims of this process, we fall down again into the material pool again been victims, again the senses overpower us with the objects. We think we are enjoying, but we are not. And like this guy who had a beautiful house, he wanted to sell, double the price, didn't sell, attached to it, house is burnt, he feels sad, somebody gives information, well, I sold it before, he's happy. Again he is sad when he says you cannot get it, people, he'll not buy it. Again sad, again he'll be happy to say he's a good man. But the moral of the story is this, that we, all of us, each and every one of us has a choice whether to accept negativity or to accept positivity. This choice is with us. Small children don't have the choice. We understand that. So it's a great responsibility for those who take care of them to take care of them. But when we grow up, if people have been taking good care of us, then please, we should have the power of discrimination, of not getting upset with them and losing the memory. Always be thankful. And we can be thankful to anyone who gives us knowledge. That's what I wanted to speak. Hope you can take this with you. Does anyone have any questions before we finish today? What we discussed? Yes? Very nice. So now, before finishing, we're nearly there, 5 minutes to go. We'll sing the small Hare Krishna mantra again for about 4 minutes before we finish our program. Is it all right? Is it okay? Very nice.